All right, I had a couple minutes while I'm hydrating here. Had a couple minutes to talk to y'all. I'll wrap with y'all for about 20 minutes or so. 11:37 on the clock. If anybody's interested in checking the biblical scripture number or the angel numbers, whatever you want to call it, 11:37 or 11:38 on the clock is when I started talking in this video. So we're going to get started. Psychic spying, why it's evil, and it doesn't matter what you use, cards, um, remote viewing, pictures, crystal balls. People even have objects of other people's that they use to psychic spy. Even eye gazing to peer into someone's memories. That's also psychic spying. I have a family member that loves to do that to me. They love to stare me in the eye when I'm talking, and I can tell that they're trying to look into my memories. It's very sneaky. Hi, everybody. I will end up doing another part of this video giving some guidance if you're interested, so you may want to stay for that. Now, here's the reason why psychic spying is evil. It's actually spiritual rape. Now, I'm going to explain why it's spiritual rape. We've heard other people say that, but I'm going to explain the. I'm going to try to explain it in a technical way so people can understand. In order to even spy, you have to push. You have to push your energy into someone else's energy because you wasn't invited. Okay, this is for anyone who wants to understand. We are protected with bubbles around us. You know, the angel dimension is bubbly because it's like water light. So we have bubbles around us, but also our chakras do as well. And and our chakra bubbles are like, it's like real strong energy like glass. So in order to get in to find out information from those specific chakras, because the chakras is like rooms, okay? They're like rooms in our house. So some people will use other people's third eye to access all those chakras because the chakras are flowing upward into the crown and the third eye. The chakra information, all the chakras informations are flowing from the ground up. Just like when a seed comes out of the ground and it blooms, our energy is flowing from the ground up. So some people will try to just gaze into your eyes and your third eye, and they'll keep gazing and gazing and gazing, which will be like pushing their third eye inside of yours, which means they're pushing their energy in so they can wander around into the main room of your memories of all your chakras. One of the main rooms of all the memories of your chakra is your crown chakra and the third eye. You have to see the third eye um almost like an entrance, okay, or like a hallway, okay, or a vacuum cleaner, like that tube that's on the vacuum cleaner, this the part that sucks up. So when people are using your third eye, they're literally using their third eye. The third eye is like a serpent. It's like it has a ribbon to it, you know, like a rope to it. And it does have a mouth, y'all. The eye is still like a mouth, a receiver. Your eye is still like a vagina. So when they're doing that, when they're trying to get into gazing and gazing and gazing, they're literally spiritually raping you with their third eye, which is still like a genital. So this is why you will often feel unexplainable pressure, even when that person's not around you who's spying on you. You may feel like someone's watching you, or you can't see them, or You may feel like someone just sucked the energy out of you and you can't explain it, because someone did. When they were pressing their third eye on yours, once they were able to get through, they started sucking like genitals do. Adult conversation, y'all. Adult conversation. So it is spiritual rape. I'm explaining it, okay, in a technical way. Um, but here's the thing: the psychic spying always has intentions. People love to say they don't have intentions. They was just being nosy. The curiosity of the nosiness is because of what they're in lack mindset about. If someone's curious about how much money you got and that's why they do the reading, then it's because they in lack mindset about their own money. They're insecure about their own money. People watch people in secret due to an insecurity of their own. And that's just the truth. They'll be in denial, but it'll come out in the cards when they do it through tarots. They'll see that their cards is in reverse. Whenever you do things, whenever you read on people without permission, it sends your cards in reverse because you didn't have permission. So what'll happen is your earth energy and your air energy and your water and your air will definitely go in reverse. That's always in reverse when you're spying on other people. And people love to say that I didn't mean no harm, psychic spying. Did make it a fair ground. Make it a fair thing. Tell the person, I do readings on everyone who's my friend. I do readings on people that I know. So that you are playing fair. You are allowing them to get to climb into your window too. See? When you do psychic spying, you're trying to maintain your boundaries while get through someone else's. A true psychic would tell the people, I do readings on my life and everyone that I talk to, so that those people can monitor the energy they're bringing too. And let's keep it real. Psychic spying is a secret way people can have an advantage. Now, some people may say that's not true. Okay, let me give this example. If someone did psychic spying and they normally psychic spy on someone that they met before, or someone that they are in a competition with. Like if they're an influencer, they may do psychic spying on another influencer. Now, let's say they do the psychic spying and they see that the other influencer is about to have the breakthrough of their life. Yet they've been stuck. They've been stuck. They're not just going to accept their stuckness and be like, okay, I'm not going to copy that influencer. They're going to copy that influencer. They're going to think that they're worthy of the breakthrough, all because they know of that person's breakthrough in the cards. But that person didn't give them permission to know their breakthrough, their upcoming breakthrough. So basically, that influencer who did the spying is trying to get through their karma illegally. They're trying to get around whatever karma they're in that's keeping them stuck. And what'll end up happening is the work that they didn't do that would have got them unstuck. They still didn't do that work. So that work just those chakras that they didn't do the work on just gets worse and worse and worse. This is why you see some people who are in the Illuminati or whatever, if you want to call it, because they psychic spies. They may get a lot of money, but you notice that their relationships are suffering. They're married to people that won't stop cheating on them, or they got a lot of people that's calling them witch. Their energy, their aura is dark to people, so their reputation is trash. They didn't work on their energy, certain chakras that would keep them from having such a dark aura. So they're still paying the price. Psychic spying, yeah, can use for an advantage, But the karma, the untreated karma, is still there. See, and that's something. Okay, so for example, there was a woman who was doing psychic spying on me. She was so busy trying to chase my bag, she didn't realize that she had um, uh, weight problems that was getting out of hand. That she had a belly that she wasn't tending to. That she was stuck health wise. And what ended up happening is it ended up hurting her image because her job also required her to have a certain image or whatever because she was an entrepreneur. But she realized that she pretty much got tired of that karma, so she stopped chasing my energy and started trying to clear out her karma. When people do psychic spying, they're people who are trying to have it all. Okay? They'll lie and say they're not. They want full control over a situation in their life, or they want full control over the situation they're having with someone. Because they're going to change their energy according to the energy of the person in the reading. So they're trying to manipulate the energy between them and someone else. So, for example, I had someone on this channel who thought I didn't know that they were checking the readings to try to monitor my energy. They were checking the sun sign readings to monitor my energy. They was doing this at night. They didn't know that I knew that I sensed it. So when they would talk to me in the morning the next day, they would pick a certain energy according to what they thought my energy was going to be. But according to the readings, but they did not know that I knew that they were trying to spy on my energy. So they were basically trying to find a way to synchronize with my energy or one up me and to get what they wanted out of me by knowing what energy I was going to be abundant in or energy I was going to show up with. And they were trying to get as much information out of me before that reading, the reading that they had done, that they got on me, before that part came up where I was going to cut them off. But they didn't know that I knew that they knew. See, they didn't know that I knew that they knew. And I will explain why some people will always know when someone's reading on them. That's another topic I'm going to talk about. Hi everybody. So they did not know that I knew that they knew that I was going to cut them off. Okay, they were trying to manipulate my energy to get what they wanted as fast as possible before I cut them off. But I already knew that's what they were going to do, and I didn't do a reading. I knew intuitively. So here's the thing: when people do psychic spying on people, they don't realize that some people some people are high priestesses in this life. They're just in human body. Some people are celestial. They're basically a cup where they just have a lot of information on people just come through them. They're receivers. They can receive people's deep dark secrets or hidden thoughts and plans. Some people have that power. So when you do psychic spying on people, you're at risk of losing that person because they may be a high priestess and or a high priest. So they will know what you're doing. And they may pull their energy back and may never tell you, but they may know. And then you just missed out on some good karma that you could have got had you not been trying to go into their metaphysical space and try to get control. See what I'm saying? When celestial beings is put into your life, and there's such celestial beings of the light and high priestesses, they're put in your life for good karma for you. But you cannot get that if you don't respect their boundaries. If you're trying to figure out their next actions so that you can hack the karma better and get more out of them and get it when you say you're supposed to get it, then they catch you, then you're screwed. You're literally screwed. Um, some people who are high priestesses and celestial, they forgive at a distance, meaning they may forgive you, but they will not release you from your karma. They'll have you release yourself from that karma. They won't help you. That's why we got the phrase, God help those that help themselves. Um, if you're doing psychic spying on people, you're not helping yourself. You're trying to find a way to get someone else's energy to help you. Because most people, when they do psychic spying, they're just not walking away and saying, oh yeah, I know all this good stuff about you. I'm going to go ahead and mind my business now. No, they're not doing that. We live in an opportunist world. There's actually a biblical scriptural number for that. There's a very low number of divine ones in the world. So that means most of the people in the world are opportunists, which means we have a lot more psychic spying than we even know about. Okay. You can stop getting info on people without knowing by stop syncing with their energy. I'm going to keep it real. Okay? When you bring your frequency down to match someone in a conversation, you will get information on them. When you focus on them and you're silent and quiet for seconds, and you start to focus on their frequency, you will get information. What you have to do is center yourself with your own energy when you're talking to people. I have people who have said, you're complicated, you're hard to read. It's like I can't pick up on your energy because I center myself with my own energy when I'm talking to people. Because see, what you get, what you take, you will give to as well. So if I take information from you because I'm centering, I'm locking third eyes with you in this conversation. I'm aligning my heart chakra with yours, and I'm matching the rhythm of your heart, which is also matching your frequency. If I match the pace of your heart, the pulse of your heart, and your breath work, if I start talking with breath patterns like you talk, then I'm matching frequency. And when I match your frequency, I get information. But if I stay in my own lane, okay, with my own breath patterns and personality way of communicating, then I not only set up energy boundaries for myself, but I also respect yours. Okay, so I'm explaining it. I'm breaking it down. Um, if we're going to get into natal charts, Earth people with significant Earth placements are very hard to read in depth, to read deeply into, spy deeply into. The reason why we are, because I have significant Earth placements, which means I'm an old soul. Okay, I have very significant Earth placement. I mean, I'm an old. I've been on Earth. I've been to Earth, around Earth energy a long time. I've been surfing the Earth for a long time, my consciousness. So when the reason why we're hard to read is because we are not automatic emotional givers. See, here's the thing. Magic follows emotion. And when you can create an emotional bond, even with strangers, you invite them in or make it easier for them to read on you. And this is why emotional bonding is a gift. I tell Divine One, stop emotionally bonding out here with anybody. In conversations, on these comments, on YouTube. Learn to be a wall. Learn to be ground in front of people. That means talking a whole less and not being so willing to emotionally connect. You be selective. You have to be selective. If you're not, you're thinning the wall of your metaphysical space. Let me say that one more time. When you're so quick to make it about emotions, emotional connection, and not about business, Because business doesn't require an emotional connection. See, that's how you get into setting up boundaries with your metaphysical space. I'm about business when I leave this door, unless it's somebody that I love. If it's somebody that I love, okay, then I can open myself emotionally. Or if somebody that loves me, I know they're going to respect my metaphysical space. They're not going to use my private metaphysical space against me or for themselves, for their own advantage. That means I must treat this world like it's about business. It's about business unless we are equally yoked. Okay? I'm helping you guys, helping y'all. Cause I told y'all, I'm starting new channels, y'all. But if you're going to start new projects and new business, you have to first know setting up boundaries. The creator doesn't withhold anything from you as a divine one. Meaning anything that you need for your new businesses, it is not withheld from you. But what you must learn is about setting up boundaries. Okay? This means if you're focusing on getting your finances in order, you have to be about business so that you can kick people out of your energy who's spying on you. See, the algorithm, when we talk about YouTube, and if you're planning to do YouTube, every divine one should have a YouTube. And I will explain why in another conversation. I know some people say, nah, that's not true. You have to have a YouTube. This world is warping and distorting your memories. It's corrupting your mind. It's making it hard for you to see yourself because around you, people are projecting. So you need a YouTube to remind, so you can stand back and see yourself when everyone's projecting on you. You can still see yourself. You can keep record. It can be like a diary, and you save money. YouTube is very frugal. You can literally do YouTube just with your cell phone. You don't need no diary paper. You don't need no pens. It's just that abundant. Okay? We don't need journals no more. We got YouTube. We don't need audios. We don't need a little hand audio recorder. We got cell phone YouTube. Like you can literally do everything and get everything done on YouTube. You don't even need to do books anymore. You can do YouTube and put videos for sale. The point that I'm making is YouTube is also the psychic spying playground. So is Instagram, so is Facebook, so is TikTok and whatever the other one app. And it's okay if you're going to put your business out there, but you have to still be in business energy when you on these platforms. So your enemies or the competition cannot wander around your Akashic record room unseen and unfelt by you. You need to be able to be notified by this algorithm when someone has been psychic spying on you or trying to. This is why even if you do a fun YouTube, it needs to be about business. Like this is the serious thing. I just recently learned this. Like I had people tell me I'm complicated, hard to read, whatever. And I started to think about what energy was I in when they were saying that. And I remember that I was just all about my soul plan and business. I was avoiding all emotional circle jerking with the people. So my energy was fleeting, was so fleeting that they really couldn't read me. They couldn't read me like they wanted to. I'm going to tell y'all something. Narcissists have mastered this. And there's a quote that says, use what's abundant in society to change it. What's abundant in society right now is business. It's grinding. Okay? Use that energy to protect you from these demonic people. When you about business on the job, all about business, and you don't even get into the entertainment for a second. You ever notice how I start making everybody uncomfortable? Everybody start getting uncomfortable. And if they uncomfortable, their frequency is unstable. So they can't really hack into your energy. Okay? Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Because here's the thing. Can I tell you something? Can I tell you something, Texas time? It's good to see you again. I think I saw your name in here before. When you, now here's the thing. You're allowed to use your powers of receiving, but you need to use it to protect the world and to protect yourself. It should be only for protection, not for gain, not for competition, and not because you're nosy. It should be for protection. If you're going to sink down into other people's emotional state of being, and you know that you always get information doing that, it should be because you know something needs to be protected. That you've been feeling like something's not protected. For example, when I felt like my property wasn't being protected when I was around somebody, I kept sensing something was going to attack my property. So I would kind of go with the flow with this person, and I would like connect with them on an emotional level at times. And then the feeling would get stronger and stronger about my property. And then one day something said, go check your camera bag. And it was like shortly after they got out of my car. And sure enough, my camera was gone. They literally went in my camera bag and took my camera and left the bag so I wouldn't think they would take it. But they never thought I would check my bag that same day. They never thought I would. See, they thought that when I was emotionally connecting with them, when they was fake emotionally connecting with me, they thought they threw me off the scent. See, narcissists will fake emotionally connect with you when really they're just about business and an opportunist level with you. But they will fake like they're emotionally connecting with you. But when you are legit about your emotions, then you break through their boundaries if it's wicked. You will always get through the wicked boundaries if you're doing it to protect yourself. Okay? You can't lie. You can't say to the angels, I'm matching their frequency to protect myself. The angels are going to know, okay? The higher ups is going to know. So it has to be because you've been sensing something wicked. Okay? It can never be because of lack. Because if you sync with other people because of lack, that means you don't have faith in God. And that means that you have faith in man more than God. See what I'm saying? So then you will be in judgment even more. But the fact that instead of turning to your connection with a higher up, you're too busy like, let me hack their energy. You're thinking that their energy is more powerful than the creator, your core connection with the creator. See what I'm saying? And here's the thing. If you're going to psychic spy, you can never ever try to use it for your advantage. Now let me explain why. Because you would be trying to connect in the reality that person's in, which means your reality will change. You might have been in the reality that you needed to be in to get your abundance. You may not thought you were because of some obstacles, but there is no reality without obstacles. See what I'm saying? But people will say, I'll get through these obstacles by changing my reality to go with their reality, since I'm spying on them and I see the end, I see the result of their reality, so I'm going to change mine. But then here's the thing. Your reality will only get you, if you change it to match someone else's through their psychic reading, it will only get you but so far. Because you can never know someone's life entirely. See what I'm saying? Even through cards. And that person, their life path changes. your life path changes as you're trying to sync through those card readings, and then you have losses that you didn't want, which could be the losses that they were supposed to have. See, this is why you got to be careful about psychic spying and using that as an opportunity. So, for example, let's say you psychic spy and you see that someone's going to get the breakthrough of their life through producing this product. And you're looking at the cards and you're like figuring out what this product is according to the elemental energy of the cards. And you decide, well, me and them is friends and we have a lot in common, so I'm going to do the same. And you do the same, but you don't know the price that they had to pay to do that. See, there's nothing comes free. There's no free manifestation. There's none. You don't know the price, and you will pay the price. And you may be like, what happened? You panic and everything. You panic. But that's the reality you wanted. You synchronize with it. This is why it's important just to let your intuition be your guide, or you have to have a high priestess guide you, or an oracle guide you to be able to do one-on-one and see into your metaphysical space for you if you have too much trauma so you can't see it. Sometimes you have too much trauma that you can't feel the issues of your metaphysical space. But spying on someone else is not going to work. Hi, everybody. Oh, thank you very much. There is no waiting on answers. There is none. And that's the thing. Your metaphysical self travels at warp speed in hunting for those answers. Your consciousness literally goes and hunt for those answers. Those answers are found immediately because you have experienced so much. You have been all on the internet. You have talked to different people. You have been in libraries around a metaphysical form of books and things like that. So it's already there. It's already there. But if you're spying on people, psychic spying, you're trying to find out something that you have been blocked from. And if you don't know what to do to get what somebody else get, then really, maybe you're not meant to do that. Most likely, you're not meant to have it. I don't need cards, someone else's cards, to tell me what I'm meant to do. I don't need that. I don't need someone else's cards to tell me how I should be. Or to tell me what they're going to do to me. You know why I don't need that? Because I keep my energy pure enough that I will catch it before it happened, or I will know when they did it, and I will know also what's going to happen to them overall energetically for doing it. I will get a download that they're going to suffer in this way or they're going to suffer in that way. Like, for example, when someone stole my camera out of my bag, what happened? I found a whole nother camera literally months later. Okay, I didn't even realize, I forgot that I had a spare camera that was spanking brand new and easier to use. But do you see what I'm saying? Like, what's meant for you is meant for you. You don't need the confirmation of someone else's energy and their life for your own confirmation of your path. I don't need to know what another psychic life is doing for me to know what kind of psychic I need to be. I don't need to know that. I could be in a room with another air rising sign, and I don't need to like spy on their energy so I can see what type of air stuff they use. Are they using scriptures? Are they using I don't need that, because I did the work on my own rising sign. So the download, the guidance must come to me. Spying is denial of your own inner work. Lack of your own inner work. If you keep thinking, here's what I recently learned. If you keep on thinking that there's a time for answers and all that, then you're acting and then you're thinking that you have to that God keeps you waiting. No. If you're a wanderer like we're supposed to be, there's no way that you're still looking for the answers. There's no way that you don't get the answers. The answers have come already. You're a wanderer. I can always tell people who don't wonder is people that always try to read other people's energy. Those are people who sit in the house, they doing things that they shouldn't be doing, they're acting in ways that should not be acting, and they don't even trust their own energy anymore. If you know you are kind, you're good, you are honest, or you will tell the truth, you won't keep on lying, or you're a person that likes to clear the air between you and people, then there's no way that you'll be blinded from guidance. There's no way. If you let things fester, okay, you won't get the download. You won't get the guidance. If you're in the energy that the Creator has chosen you to be in, you will not need to spy on anyone. The energy that you're supposed to be in will automatically draw the energy to you that will grow your energy. So you do not need a safety jacket, a lifesaver of someone else's energy. If you're tempted to spy on anyone, that means there is some deep introspection that needs to be done with you. And you think maybe you don't need to do it because you have money, but you might not be looking in the mirror. You might not be noticing that your light is fading. You know, I was talking to someone outside today, and they flipped into a red pill type of energy. And they started talking about what they do for a living and all that. And I knew right away, I said, this is a person who is not that connected with God. Like, I know that because we are not here to glamorize just making money. That's not what we're here for. We're here to learn happiness that is beyond money, that's beyond all of that. The Creator will always give us everything that we need. It's already been provided. It's here on earth, and you can get it all. If you know how to research, if you know how to talk to people, you can get everything that you need. But happiness is something that comes from spirit. Spiritual experiences and spiritual behavior and spiritual consciousness. The quality of it. And if that is not something that you lead with, if that's something that's optional, plan B, if that's something that is like the last thing you want to talk about, then you haven't reached elevation. It doesn't matter what kind of car you're driving. It doesn't matter. See, I had all that before. And I tell people this. I'm an old soul. And my consciousness is old, and it knows what it's like to have fancy, expensive things all the time. In this life, I'm here to help people to see that you might be about business, just making money, but I can show you something that is way more valuable and precious than that. That even when you ain't about business and making money, that you're taken care of. I can show you. I can show you how money will come to you. Things will come to you. Spiritual power will always make sure you're taken care of. When your spiritual power is bright and clean and you care about the spirit of other people, this world must take care of you. And that's just the way it is. Let me give you an example. A week ago, I was thinking, I want more oxygen in my spiritual space, my creative space. I need plants for my energy, because the Creator gave me a quote that said, "There's nothing in the Zen. You bring Zen to the mountains. Like when people go to the mountains and the forest and the woods, they think that they're getting Zen." But then I got a download to explain why people are fooled and they're thinking they're getting Zen energy, but there's something else that's actually happening. So the angels had told me to get plants in my atmosphere. Okay, so and that I was missing that, and that once upon a time when I had it, it was easier to maintain my energy that I need to serve and help in this world. So I was thinking, yeah, I'm gonna get plans, blah 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 blah. Now I visualized this in my mind, and then I was around a family member, and I sensed. See, when I connect to people's energy, I'm connecting to see what they need. See, that's what God do. God connects to people's energy to see what they need, what they're dealing with their trauma. How can they be helped? That's why. That's the only reason why you would synchronize with somebody's frequency. That's not your child and partner. So my family member, I said, hey, they've been a little distant. I said, hmm. So I went into my meditative state for a couple seconds to connect with their energy, and I sensed that something wasn't well about them. I said, "You're not well." I said, "I can see it, even though it's not in your face." I said, "Something's going on with you," and my family member said, "I don't know. Something's off." They said something's off in me. I said, "Hmm," and then I heard hydration. I literally heard the Holy Spirit say that word. And I said, "You need to hydrate. You're very dehydrated and you don't know that you are." And I just got that intuitively. And I went over and I said, "Take one of my hydration thingies that I have." And they normally don't even drink hydration stuff. And they drank it, and I could tell like they felt like that's what they needed, and they ended up drinking a whole bottle. And they said, "You know what? I forgot to get some Gatorade." And then my download got confirmed about hydration. I got another download. Um, See, when you have compassion and you care about people and you respect their boundaries and you have compassion, number one, it means that you're a hydrator. You're hydrating yourself, you're hydrating other people. But when you're just all about money and opportunists and spying on somebody's energy, which is also money, then you're not hydrated. Like when I'm hydrated, I'm happy, I'm peaceful, that I have no need to spy on other people's energy. If I tap into your energy, it's because I'm trying to see, is there a way that I need to hydrate you? I already know that I'm abundant in it. I can feel it. When I feel that abundant in me, I'm not allowed to just hog it and keep it to myself. So I said, if you ever get that feeling that you can't explain like that again, where you're in and out of reality like you are, I said, because that's what it is. And they couldn't put it in words, but I put it in words for them. I said, you probably need to hydrate. Okay. Sometimes mental confusion, warped reality dream is because you don't have enough hydration in you, or you're toxic and you need to detox through hydration. So I gave them the hydration stuff or whatever. But guess what happened? 2 days later, they got my manifestation download. They came in the door with two plans that are literally my power colors. Like they just came out of nowhere with these plans, and I was like, how did you know? I was like, oh my goodness. I said, you literally got my download. And I said, how did you know? They said, I just felt like I had to get these for you. But I never spoke of plants to this person. But that's what I'm talking about. I respected his boundaries and only connected to his energy to find out why his aura was fading and his light was so dim and he didn't look well. He didn't seem well to me, even spiritually. So I was trying to help save his life. I wasn't trying to hack his metaphysical space for just to be nosy. Now, of course, I could have went deeper. I could have started, intuitively connecting in deeper. But I only had a question regardless of regarding to why I felt like his cup was empty. His cup was like almost empty. That's not a good thing. I could feel it. Like his metaphysical space was like dried up. So I had to fill his cup up, and then he was get my angels touched him and told him to give me a manifestation. So everything comes full circle. The energy that you put out, you get back, and you always put energy out when you're spying on people. It's always a give and take because it's spiritually sexual still. Okay? So unless you're ready for the other person to know about your secrets and know about your issues, don't even spy. Because if they sense that you're spying and they get your issues, they may get revenge on you and use your issues against you. People are known to do that when they find out that you're psychically spying on them. And they sense negativity about you, they'll literally expose it to punish you. There's some people in this world who is the spiritual beings in human bodies who are what I call karma angels. I am. I am a karma angel. I've told y'all this before. Not everybody is here to help get people unstuck and clear out people's energies so they can get some good karma and find out what karma they can get. But some people are a dark karma angel, meaning they are a punisher of whatever they sense that you're doing to them. Okay? See, the shadow world got everything that God has. So there are devil karma angels as well. And those are the ones that's like, I'm going to get even with you. I'm going to hit you below the belt because you crossed my boundaries with spying on me. There's people that will go to great lengths to really hurt you for that. It's a dangerous thing to do. Some people are very, very, very private people. I'm a very private person. Not so many people know about my pain and suffering out in these streets. My neighbors don't know. I've been living over here 12 years and they don't know. The most they might know, one neighbor know my mom died because her mom died too. That's it. No one else knows. Okay? I don't discuss my medical records. I don't really get into it. I might share a little bit with y'all on this channel, but only when my oracles tell me to, because it's a part of a challenge for me to be more vulnerable at times. But overall, I'm not really into being vulnerable. But I have to practice that sometime in this life. However, I'm a very private person, but I choose not to retaliate, because I know that retaliation also attracts negative karma. Okay? I had somebody retaliate against me for something I did out of ignorance. I was underage and I was ignorant. And they retaliated against me and they ended up attracting negative karma. They ended up becoming a narcissistic type of person rather than the humble being that they were. And it ended up ruining their relationship that they had with somebody. So if you feel like you're getting justice you want to get justice, and that's why you're spying on people. Like when some psychics spy on other psychics because their psychic life is struggling, and they say, I'm doing this because I need justice. Understand, you still broke a spiritual law. So you're still going to attract the negative energy, because forgiveness means not retaliating. That's a part of forgiveness. Having faith that they will attract who they are. Having faith in that. I was all tempted to retaliate against the thief that stole my $200 pen and my $2,000 camera. Anybody would have went after somebody over that. Okay, a $200 rare pen that was like, had a, this from the felt of Thomas Jefferson tree someone stole from me. They didn't make some money off selling that pen in the street. If I was a dark karma angel, I would have literally got even with them. But the best way to get even is to get out of that person's energy way. Because when you're around people who do wicked stuff, you're still like a protection. You're still protecting them from attracting their karma. You're still a shield. So when you get away, when you stay away, you're no longer just protecting them. You're not protecting the wicked. If you go to help them and they don't want it, okay, that would be helping them. But when you're just around them and not trying to help them get out of the wickedness, you're still protecting them energetically. Light always defeats the dark. It overpowers the dark. So you're still a protector. But they still got dark coming in. See, so you're just wasting your time with the person. So you get away so that all that dark can finish coming in them that they refuse to deny, and then they get their karma. Karma, let me explain something about karma too. Karma is not for your satisfaction and your pleasure. Karma is for the Creator to be able to do its work with you undisturbed by that person. So your angels can work with you undisturbed by that person's energy. Because when someone's going through karma, negative karma, and they're trying to get out of it, they are doing all kind of stuff that you wouldn't even probably do. Okay? They ain't doing you until normally you're last resort. Because they know that they start to sense that how they're suffering is because of how they did you. So you're like the last resort. But then by that time, you got the sign that you should just stay away from them. But if you go checking on these wicked people, because see, using these apps is still spy glasses. I don't know why people don't realize that, because there's a mirror there. You're looking at your phone. You're looking at your TV. You're looking through glass. You're still spying when you're looking at your enemies, your exes, your narcs, your toxic family members you don't deal with. They're none of your business. They were in the way of your business, which is your purpose. They are none of your business. Hi, everybody. You are divine, which means sometimes you can't help but to give. If you're in that real positive feeling and you're amazed by the world, you might just naturally be given to these wicked people. Energetically, like seriously, I've done it. I decided, let me see what my enemy up to. And I'm like, wait a minute. Why did they just get my download? Like, I literally seen it happen. Like, I had a download and 2 hours later, they had the download. Because I was in a happy vibration. I was in a generous vibration at that time. And I went towards them, the wrong people. So here's my thing. When you're in that energy where you're like, okay, I'm helping people to get through, finish even just spiritual work, you got to be very selective who you're watching, who you're tapping into. Who you talk to for even more than 7 seconds? When you talk to people out in the street, you ever notice how some people will look like they will be in front of you, but it looks like their eyes are wandering all around you? They're looking at your aura. There's this real uncomfortable silence that keeps happening. Okay, they're tapping into your energy. When you are in a generous energy state, which means you are trying to help society like I'm doing right now, you have to pay attention to the time, the human clock of when you're talking to people. Because you'll give to them, and some people won't even care. They'll say that you were sent to help them even though they wicked. Even though they plan to not change their wicked ways. They'll say, well, when they met you, they got a download, so God is still working in their favor. Meanwhile, they hacked you, and you was easy to be hacked because you was in generous energy. This is deep. Okay? Just today, I had this guy, and I felt like he was like, he didn't acknowledge me. What was weird is he didn't acknowledge me around the other women in the store. Okay, he was younger. That set up a red flag. That set up a red flag. He was young. He was younger than me, like in his 30s, at least 10 years younger. So basically, he was trying to act like with whatever red pill energy I sensed from him, like my old butt should just die alone. Okay? He waited till I got all the way out into the parking lot and then wanted to speak to me. Even though he spoke to the young girls that were in there. Okay, even the young transgender woman he spoke to. I said, okay, he's manipulative. He's manipulative. So then when we got into the parking lot, way in the parking lot, he finally spoke and said, I never heard no one say their age when you were talking to the young girl. And I said, what does it matter? I know what I bring to this world. And if someone wants what I want, it doesn't really matter. Like, we're still both grown. We just have to want the same things. I don't really care about my age clock. The human age clock of my years. I don't care about that. And he was like, he went into some, he got real quiet when I said my quote about wanting what someone else want, and that's the bottom line. When it comes to age or whatever, grown-ups, he started to meditate on when I said that, and I can tell he was trying to match my frequency. So I turned my body kind of away from him, and basically I turned my eyes off of him. And then he kind of like froze up, like almost like he almost had access to my Akashic record, but then I closed it in his face. Okay? And then he started asking me questions or whatever, and he said something about masculine energy or whatever. And he started to try to school me. So okay, I see what was happening was his energy, his judgment of older women was affecting his toxic community levels. So basically, he decided he was picking what energy to be in based upon stereotypes of my race and age, because he went off into this red pill stuff. And I was just like, okay, and then when I said to him, I'm sharing this experience today. When I said to him, yeah, I did speak to the person, and I told the person, I'm about being worldly, whatever. And they was like, your problem was that you didn't pick somebody who would lead you. I said, wait a minute now. I told them, I said, yes, I did. I said, but people can surrender control to other people, and then it messes with your relationship. That's how it went with me. So I kind of corrected him. And this is why it's important to not think you know people's energy all because you see their race and their gender. Sometimes that makes you access a record that's not in their room. It's in the devil's record room. See what I'm saying? So this guy assumed that I did not know how to pick a man because of how things went down. And I said, no, there was outside interference. He was influenced by the devil. I wasn't. And I corrected him. I said, and I told, but he assumed because of my age, he might have assumed I was a baby boomer, even though I wasn't. Because people often think I'm a baby boomer because of all the silver in my hair. But a lot of divine ones will often get a lot of silver when they're in their life purpose. That's another thing. When you're in your life purpose a lot, your head is in literally heaven's light all the time, metaphysically. So your hair often will go silver faster than other people. Other people. But anyway, he thought that I was a masculine woman because I told the man what I needed, and I didn't see that I picked the wrong man. And I told him, I said, no, I did pick the right man. Because he is my divine partner. He is one of my divine partners. I have many. He was negatively influenced by someone else's world. And this is what I want to get into too. I could have easily read on one of my divine partners, and I could have read on him. I know how to read on anybody to find out why did he do this flip and switch, but I didn't need to, because when someone's divine, all you got to do is if someone is chosen for you for your life purpose, all you got to do is meditate on it, and you will find out why. So I knew, even though I didn't read on my divine partner, I knew that there was a female that was hiding in this family that was negatively influencing him against me. He didn't know that I knew. But then when I finally told him that I knew, he kind of went quiet and he was kind of shocked. Okay? And then I noticed that all of a sudden I don't have access to this female. So that was also confirmation as well. But what I'm saying is, when I met this guy today, like I said, he thought he was reading me right. He thought he was reading me right, but he was reading me wrong. His society toxic influence was letting him access a dark record that wasn't even mine. And I actually had to stop him in mid-sentence and like let him know, no, that's not my record. But the point that I'm making, somebody said they'll be right back. So the point that I'm making also is if you want to get to a point where you don't feel tempted to hack people's energy and spy, you have to not feed into the toxic influences of society as well. Okay? Most of the time when people do that is because some sort of politics is influencing them to do that. So, for example, when I had people spying on me, it was women who were taught to be competitive with other women. The women who were spying on me with these cards, their political upbringing was compete against other women. That's what it was. That was their upbringing. Don't do it to a man, but it's okay to do it to a woman. And that's another thing. Most men spy on other men. Most women spy on other women. And women will spy on men if they see how much money they got. But most of the time, women spy on other women. Because that's how they were raised. Their mama was doing it. Their neighbors was doing it. That's why that's the politics of their upbringing. But now we have other communities like the Red Pill community where we have to spy on the energy of black women because we have to protect ourselves because they all have issues. See, that's the politics. But what if your politics was just all positive? Like what if that? Like, I don't have to compete with with other black women to win. I don't have to find out how you're doing it to do it better, to prove that I'm just as good as you or worthy as you. All I got to do is study hard and get my skills together. That's all I got to do. What if our politics was positive? There's people who have walked up to me and asked me, What do you do? Because they're looking at my aura and they're blown away by my aura. They want to, they think that I'm like, maybe I'm from Mecca or something. Okay, I can sense it. But it's because my politics, when I'm out in these streets and when I'm sitting in this house, is about the work that I got to do on myself. And then when I start think, when I think about the world, I try to think positive. But I always keep in mind the danger is real. And spying is dangerous. I keep that thought. But I try not to take to have any negative political stuff in my mind. Because I already know that that weakens my spiritual boundaries. When people have negative politics about anything about people, gender, sexuality, age, race, financial status versus theirs, all of that, it weakens your spiritual boundaries. The Creator will allow your boundaries to be weakened as a way so that person can know what else negative this about you. The people will be able to sense you. I've been around people with so much negative politics, and I'm hearing them, I'm seeing them say this stuff, and I'm sensing how they giving me dirty looks for no reason and stuff. And I'm like, they don't even know that that just literally made it super easier for them, for me to just sense who they are. Like I'm able to sense other stuff about them that they don't even want nobody to know. But I'm not going to say nothing. I'm gonna go to the cash register machine and ring up my stuff. I'm not gonna laugh, smirk at them. I'm not gonna go, haha, if only you knew what I know. I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna ring up my stuff and let them live in illusions that they're hiding who they are while being politically toxic. Let them have that illusion. Like I have neighbors here who are politically toxic. They're toxic according to their financial status versus yours. But they don't realize that when I'm around them, I sense, when I walk by, I sense stuff they're going through. And it doesn't matter how they present their financial politics. I still know. I know by the fact that they don't get no sun. I know by the fact how they rush out of the sun. You rush out of the sun, I already know you're going through stuff. I really don't care. I really don't care how you present yourself. Y'all be saying some deep stuff. When I go to gas stations and I see people rushing from the gas station door to their car, and they don't feel like they want to sit in that sun for a moment, they don't take their time. I don't care how nice your car is, you're going through stuff. You don't have inner power you know about. Your power is based outside of you. There's no such thing as indoor hermit introverts. That was made up by the devil. And I know that people are going to argue with me about I'm an indoor hermit, but no. The devil put you there. The Creator would never want you to only get 5 minutes of the sun and be tucked away day and night. No, that's caveman energy. We see what happened when people got in that energy, when they was like living in the cave. What happened? They got faded. They got washed out, didn't they? When they came out those caves, they wasn't as abundant. They wasn't as abundant and strength looking. They were aging faster and all type of stuff. So if you're stuck in hermit energy all the time, it's not because that's not who you are. Hermit energy can also make you messy with what you're focusing on. Because if you're outdoors in nature in the wild, you ain't too worried about focus. You ain't too worried about social media, unless it's music or maybe dancing on TikTok. But other than that, you're not really worried about it. When I'm powered up by the sun, I'm really not worried about these toxic politics on YouTube. Y'all, I be on these videos, stop telling it like it is. And there's something else. 12:47 on the clock, y'all. 12:47. I see sevens all the time. 7 7 7 7 7 7 7. Because I'm a high priestess. Seven is about inner work, inner power. You know, connecting to your spiritual power and purpose. When you see sevens, you are definitely in your purpose in some part of your life. You just don't know that you are. And I'm saying purpose because that's what humans say it is. But really, it's what's abundant in your metaphysical space already for you to use, which you have a lot of access to. That's really what it is. I'm having this discussion because I know that people are struggling with the Bible scripture number 4, and I know people are struggling with the Bible scripture 5. Instead of being free, they're too busy stuck focusing on the past or what somebody did or what somebody might be doing in the dark behind their back. You know, spy against spy and stuff. No, no, don't waste your energy about with spy against spy. You know, there's a new addiction where people are like, you tap into my energy, I tap into yours. No, I really don't care because I know that I'm protected. So if I feel like you're ghosting me or you're not giving me no love, I'm not gonna I'm not I don't care what the reason is. I don't care. Because that too could be spell work. You want me to think about that. So I don't think about my metaphysical work that I have to do. Okay, I'm here to clean up space and mesmerize space. I'm here to attract people to the stars, to the stars for them. I'm here to help people to use their star. I'm not here to worry about what you're doing behind my back. I know, first of all, if I know what I'm chosen to do, I shouldn't even be worried about what you're doing. Like, serious. Because I know that I'm protected. When, for example, when we go with the saints and we're going to get into some of the scriptures, a lot of them wasn't worried about what people were going to do, even if it was going to cause them pain, because they knew they was going to rise. They knew that that person was either going to pay or suffer through some sort of commandments that was going to be put on them that they don't want to do. Like, thou shalt not steal and thou shalt not kill. People are addicted to that in today's world. Don't nobody want those. A lot of people don't want those commandments. That's why we got mass shooters and people killing people's spirit and all that type of stuff, stealing and robbing and stuff. I know that either you're going to have to deal with those commandments and I'm going to be risen above it. One way or another. You know, sometimes I think about what I would be like on my death day. 0 on the clock. Interesting that I said that. 0, down to 0. You know, bottom floor, basement. I think about sometime my death day, and I think about what I will think about as I'm dying. Because that will really be my only power I have at that point. Okay? The kind of mindset I want to be in when this body is done. When it's done being above land. When it's done being at the top of land, what mindset I want to be in. I'm already working on that. So that I don't get in the way of the positive judgment of my soul. What gifts, what mental gifts I want to deliver to everybody on my last breath. Not about what I'm fighting to take with me, because whatever my consciousness is, that I'm taking it with me. Period. I have to. Once I'm dying, it's down to last breath. That metaphysical space is under lock. The consciousness is under lock. Can't nobody decide what I could take with me. But I'm going to decide what I'm going to leave energetically and mentally to this world. With unfinished spiritual business that I didn't do, that I got to do. Unfinished. What little bit of freedom I can leave behind? What can I leave to everybody that will give them a little bit of the freedom they're supposed to have? Not, I'm going to leave this to somebody because it means a lot to me. But what freedom it would give to them. Like, I would leave my art supplies to my daughter, because I know that art would give her freedom, because that's what she runs to when things hit the fan. She always runs to her artistic gifts. That's what I would leave to her. I wouldn't leave a diamond, because I already know that she is learning how to not be materialistic in this life, to not be just all about the money in this life, to be about more family love and things like that. So I'm not going to leave her. I'm not going to leave her the diamonds and whatever gems that I got. That's not going to be good for her. Her character, her spiritual growth. I might leave it to my nephew, because my nephew, okay, has always had obstacles financially in his life. He's struggling how to overcome financial obstacles. So I would leave him probably some money that would help him to invest in financial, maybe a financial advisor. But what I'm saying is, where other people future think on wealth, I like to future think on what I'm going to leave behind. This reality has an ending of my death. It does. And the deeper I get into my purpose, the closer that death comes. The death of my body. The death of my soul purpose is when it's done, complete. As far as I could take it in this existence of my body. But as closer I get to that, the closer my body gets to death. I need my mind ready for that. And once you know your life plan, you'll pretty much almost be able to kind of estimate, it's probably around the time I'm going to die. Probably I'm going to die this way. These several ways. I need to work on my inner power, because I have to be ready for that. This stuff, these products, this stuff that we chasing, that's not going to make us ready for that. You don't never see someone's hospital room on their deathbed stuffed with their car and their TVs. You don't see that. You don't see that. When they're in their room on IV and they're on their last breath, that room is empty. It's empty normally. Just got flowers and cars and a bed. Oh, thank you very much. You are a gift basket. You are a gift. And you are designing a gift, okay, that you're going to leave to everyone that you loved. And the gift is going to be the consciousness of your metaphysical space. I found this out when my mother died. I didn't even know about that until my mother died, and my sister said something to me. She said, "Sister, I'm glad you wasn't there when Mom died." Now, I felt my mother died. It was 4 or something in the morning, and I felt this burst of energy in my body. It woke me up 4 something in the morning, and I felt like I had to check my text messages, and my sister was in there saying, I need to really talk to you, it's important. And when I called her, she said, Mom just died. So I felt my mother's force of her soul. She delivered her energy to me in my sleep. Now my sister said, my sister had the gift of sight as well. My oldest sister. She said, I'm glad you wasn't there when Mom died, because I swear I saw you. She said, I swear y'all looked identical when she was dying. And she said her soul, like something about it looked like yours. And and like I said, I was jolted out of my sleep at the moment that my mom died. So, and then all of a sudden, all this information started coming to my mind. Like, I'm telling y'all, no lie. It's been almost like there's a portal that that was a portal to God that became accessible to me at the time of her death. Now, I started thinking about my mom and thinking about our previous phone calls, and I realized that she was dropping hints to me that she was a high priestess. She wasn't coming right out with it, but she was kind of telling me how she could see and get and see people's lives and downloads and things like that. Well, I remember a few years before she died, she told me that one of us that one of us was going to die soon, and she thought it was going to be me. She called my phone and said, are you okay? I sensed something, um, like you couldn't breathe or something. She sensed that somebody was going to stop breathing or something, die. I said, Mom, don't say that, you know. And then, this is no lie, about a couple months before my mom died, I was talking to a friend on the phone, my friend Kronk, and he said, how's your mom? I said, well, she's talking about one of us is going to die or whatever. And I told my friend, he said, how's she doing? I swear to goodness, it just came to me. I said, Kronk, it's my mom. And he was like, are you serious? I said, yeah. And I said, I'm not gonna say nothing though. I'm not gonna say nothing. And don't you know, I called my mom the day that she died, and I was sitting in the shadows too when I called her. It was like almost like I was in the darkest part of this living room when I called her. I could feel her energy. And I just stood, when she said she had to call me back, I was frozen. I was literally in a trance, like I couldn't even move. And my family member was like, is everything okay? I said, I don't know. And I just kept sitting there and sitting there and sitting there. And normally I get upset when she said she had to call me back, and I felt like I had to call her, but it's like I knew something was wrong. And then at the exact time that she died, I was jolted up out of my sleep. And the funny thing about that is that at that exact time that I called her was around the exact time the last time I saw her on that same day. What I mean by this is we might think there's not a plan. There's plans for us. And there's always signs. So you don't need to spy. There's always signs. There were signs that my mother was going to die. The last time that I was in her house and I felt that energy and I felt how was that same day, Valentine's Day, around that same time. Her voice sounded just like that. And I can remember that year, it was a few years before. Okay, she sat in her living room to me. Had I had known that this happened to me, I would have lived my life. I need to do my bucket list. Some years before, at that exact time frame, on that same day, my mother said she was doing her bucket list. That she had been crying about my brother being dead, and she said she's going to get more air. She's going to live her life more. She had known she was going to have an incurable non-contagious skin disease, she would have went more places or whatever. And then it was about 4 or 5 years later, she died on that same day. But this is why you gotta be careful of all the switching energy stuff. You gotta protect when you're in that high vibe feeling. Okay, because low vibe feeling all the time, it can lead you to a plan in which you can have an early death where you're not worthy of those extra years that you would get. You may die early within that certain time frame instead of at the end of that time frame. So let's say that the creator say you're supposed to die, the maximum is with you 90 years or whatever. And believe me, there is a maximum because your heart does age, and it can age faster according to your stress levels. When you're in high vibe, you're not as stressed. So the years of your heart health isn't taxing. And your heart health affects every organ and every decision that you make. So if you say I'm gonna try to keep this high vibe as long, I'm gonna protect my high vibe. I'm gonna protect it. Okay, then you extend your life within that time frame of when you're meant to die, when your purpose has expired in this physical existence that you have. There's an expiration date for your in the body that you're in. Okay, so um, if your consciousness goes to the dark side, like it has been before too many times, then the contract doesn't get complete. Okay, the metaphysical spiritual contract doesn't get complete, and then you die earlier in that time range. See what I'm saying? So, for example, if I stay low vibe because I keep dealing with low vibe people, if I keep doing that, then my heart's intuition and sensory, it's not going to warn me against possible early deaths. Like, oh, I might get on a train that's not operating. I might ignore the sound, the crankiness of this train, and I get on and the train wreck and I die. See what I'm saying? Like Aaliyah's case. Aaliyah was dabbling with the dark side. So her intuition was corrupted before she got on that plane. Her intuition would have told her, don't trust these people. Don't take these drugs. Don't get on this small jet plane that she didn't own. Okay? Who in their right mind would get on a jet plane, a small personal jet plane owned by a complete stranger with people who were jealous of her and who were harvesting her energy? Her intuition was struggling because I'm using Aaliyah as an example, because Aaliyah did not prioritize her spiritual self-care. She was so busy in just making the money and being a giver and a giver and a giver. Her challenge was to prioritize her spiritual wealth. When I went and investigated her cosmic energy, her struggle was her spiritual wealth. Okay, she was in the voice part, she was in the dance part, but she did not prioritize her spiritual wealth. She needed a minister or someone to keep her on how to keep her light up. She was seeking love outside of herself, and she was. A lot of people will say no, she wasn't. Yes, she was. Yes, she was. Okay, which is why she was in those different groups with toxic people and stuff like that, with Jay-Z and all of them. She wasn't realizing that the isolation energy was actually working for her. She might have been isolated around people she didn't know, like when she was doing interviews in crowds and stuff, but she also needed to be isolated with people who were disturbing her mental health. But she was too young So she needed a minister or somebody older to guide her with that. Okay? This is why it's very important to um, to have ministry at a young age, so you can sort of know um, the main energy that you would need to protect yourself when you're in in the future when you're doing your life work. Like for example, me, I did not know that isolation energy is abundant for me, meaning in the world but not always of it. I did not know that. I used to be like of the world, of the world, of the world all the time when I was like in my 20s, and I didn't do no writing. I didn't get these downloads. I wasn't that connected to the creator. I was constantly getting in bad situations. Um, but I decided to take a leap of faith one day to see what would happen if I just got away from everybody. It was very scary. It was the worst fear I ever felt. But I did not know that was the proof that that was the ultimate challenge in my destiny, to be able to let go of toxicity and realizing that I don't have control over changing people to treat me better. I don't have that control. I don't have that control. All I can do is let everybody go. I don't mean I go with the toxic flow. Surrender to the toxic flow all because I don't want to be alone. I'm afraid to be alone. I was taught by my family that me needing more alone time was me being selfish and mean to my siblings. See, that was the wrong lesson from my parents. They saw it as I was trying to like abandon my little sister. But they didn't realize that I'm a military man that's supposed to actually be in a small group and be more to myself in that group at times. They didn't realize that because they didn't know me spiritually. They didn't get to know me because they didn't stand back and watch how abundant I become when I'm in that energy. How I can say certain things out of nowhere when I'm in that energy that will inspire them. They wasn't noticing that. But as I started to feel like I was in prison and more in prison, every time I was like, oh, I'm going to just always be of the world and in it. And I started to feel, I realized that even though I had a basic 9-to-5 job, I was still very spiritually stuck. I would have crying moments, burst of crying moments in my car, in bathrooms. Even though I had plenty of money in the bank, even though I had a nice car. I didn't realize that I was chasing inclusion with toxicity and it just wasn't for me. You know, there's some people that get successfully rich being in toxic situations. Like, I think it was the Beatles. They was all highed up together when they wrote Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. When they wrote that song, that group that wrote Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, they were all highed up. But me, I'm supposed to be sober amongst the high people. Sober amongst toxic people. Not going with it. I'm supposed to learn and study them for my inner growth. Not going with it. But some people, they're supposed to experience what it's like to be toxic in this life. It's sad to say, but I know some of y'all think, no, that's impossible. Somebody's supposed to be toxic. For some people, being toxic is actually a part of their breakthroughs. But when I was talking about Aaliyah, I'm going to get back to that. Her case is one of the most obvious cases where you get to actually learn why it's important, okay, to seek ministry as early as possible. If you're young watching this, okay, stop waiting for a reason or excuse or confirmation to be clean. Clean always works for you. Clean is not a setback. Yeah, you'll be alone more being clean, but you'll be more protected energetically. There was drugs in Aaliyah's system when she died. And intuitively, I know for a fact that they weren't all forced on her. She looked at high up in pictures with Jay-Z. She was negatively influenced by them. She was young and underage. And by during those times, you just went with the flow sometime to, to get where you need to be. But there needed to be some intervention. Do you know that death can be God intervening? It's sad that sometimes the Creator worked that way to relieve you of a suffering that you are refusing to relieve yourself from. That's literally getting out of control. That's totally disrespecting your contract. That would be me. That would be me drugging it up and stuff like that. If I drugged it up, if I ate a lot of bad food, if I ate really unhealthy, the Creator would probably release me to death. I already know this. Okay? If I was having sex out in these streets real casual, definitely I would get something that would take me down. I know because I know the fear, the anxiety and the fear that I have when it approaches me. How I'm like, I have to be mindful with this. I have to be mindful with this. When you're like in that energy, that's literally the devil. The devil is behind that, trying to do a sneak attack on your lifespan and like purpose. And not listening to that because you are alone and lonely and you want to fit in is reckless. I'm going to miss out on lunch dates and things with my family because I'm not eating like them anymore. When they're eating, I'm not going to be eating. When they're eating these burgers and all this barbecue, I'm not going to be eating that every day because I'm not supposed to. Yeah, it's going to separate us because, food brings people together, but they're the type of people we should eat the same food. No, we shouldn't. I'm talking about this because this is the time where this is the year of health breakthroughs. This is the year for it. And when they say health is wealth, it's wealth of everything. Wealth of divine knowledge, wealth of creative energy, wealth of spiritual breakthrough. It's of all that. And you will sacrifice so much when you prioritize your health. And there is no food health without first spiritual health. I no longer eat food until I am in a good mood spiritually. I don't care if it takes 2-3 hours sitting in here. Until I'm in a positive mindset about my life and what I can do for me in the world, I'm not worthy of food. I would rather go hungry because I know that food is going to be cursed. I know it is because it has to be low vibe if I'm low vibe. If you feel that energy surge from people when they die, then that person was actually a part of your soul tribe, soul plan. And sad to say, I'm not trying to hurt nobody, but you might have had the power to extend their life. They might have not known that you did. I had the power to extend the life of my mother, to postpone her death contract. I knew it, but she never listened to me. She never listened to me. When I would say fish, she would say I want to go eat chicken. When I would say, Mom, come dancing, She would be so worried about what people would think she wouldn't go dancing. When I would say, Mom, go for a walk with me, she would say, no, my bad knees. And I would say, you can take your pain meds and walk. And she'd say, nah, 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 nah. It was always in excuses. And she didn't know that that was making her get heavier and heavier and eating unhealthy and out of shape until her heart couldn't take it no more. She literally dropped dead. See what I'm saying? The bound ones have the power to save each other. We are each other's heroes. But we have to be willing to listen. We have to stop thinking that we know it all because of our age in our positions in the family. I'll try to wake up and I'll try to say, I don't know nothing. That's the energy that I be in. I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know anything. I need to. I know it, but I don't have access to it. It's around me. I just need to get access. And if I can't get access to it on my own, I need to get help to get access to it. I need to listen to people who had similar challenges as me, so I can get access to that record to get through. It doesn't matter how or if we're the same age. There's a guy whose book I listen to every single day. It's becoming so routine. I mean, I think I did listen to his audio book, Stephen Pressfield. He's an angel guide of mine in human flesh. But I listen to his books over and 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 over again. You would think that I'm insane how many times I play the same books. But I know that I have dealt with a lot of toxicity, and it's the toxicity is always coming for me energetically, and it wipes out my information. So I try to go to my angel guides every day, even people in human flesh, and I try to get them, even if they got to say the same stuff to me every day, I go to them. I go to them every single day. I don't have to know them personally. I go to the resource every single day. If it worked for me before, it'll work again. If it got me to take another little step, a little toe down into the reality I belong in to expand my life, so I can help the world, then I need to listen to them again and again and again and again and again. When you're pushed to consume content and you're like in phone addiction energy, there's somebody you're supposed to be listening to again and again and again and again. Their energy has been trying to get through to you so they can help you with that breakthrough. I remember I was thinking about so much other stuff over the past month. I said, I'm done. I'm bringing it all down to its knees. I'm going to just go ahead and focus on my inner power and the spiritual work I'm supposed to be doing out here, whether it's through literature and or certain artwork or spiritual guidance. That's it. I ain't even worried about nothing else. I try to think about, when I manifest and I'm starting something new to manifest something, I try to go deeper into that reality to think about how will I really feel about it after I got it. A lot of people, they say I'm gonna get that car, but okay, forward some months in, how would you feel about having it if months went by? And whenever I do that, I say, actually, it's like the car wouldn't be worthy to me. The car would be worthy to me only if it served my purpose. Otherwise, I would feel it is a burden. Some people might not ready for that type of elevation of spirit. They might need a couple more bodies. Their consciousness need a couple more bodies of life to get to that point. Past of product glamour. of just the glamour of having things. And that's why I don't know. I stop judging people for like product glamour, where they don't really care if their products are abundant for people just for themselves. I don't judge them people no more, because they probably need a couple more bodies. They need to be like 10 more. Their consciousness needs to body hop a couple more times before they get to that point where beyond product glamour. This is why I know I'm near the end of the line with my consciousness being in a human body. It's most likely I'm going to stay in the cosmos. I can feel it. I'm going to stay in the cosmos after this. Like, that's it. I'm just going to be something, maybe a star that people just connect to. They look up at the sky and get some of my energy or whatever. That's probably all it's going to be. I already know, because it's like I feel like I've learned so many lessons over so many years. My soul feels so old, and I always felt this way. Like, I've always felt 300 years old, y'all. And because I try not to judge people, because it's like everybody ain't at the same level of learning and ain't ready for it. So of course people are going to argue with me and think I'm insane by not having the same glamour that they have. I already know that. So it's like, I know that I'm like very obsolete with the majority in this world. I know that if I sat out there and talked to people out in these streets about the inner spirit of innovation and creative power and psychic power, a lot of people would like say she's insane, because they're looking at the economy. She's insane. She needs to be like focused about money. And I say that this government gives you everything for free. If you don't believe me, it literally do. It literally do. So if it gives you everything for free, like literally, you can get an apartment for free. You can, like, you can actually get. There's dentists that comes to every state almost in America and give everybody free dental work. You can literally, if you don't have the money, you can qualify for grants that will get you free teeth, free this, free that. There's people having babies for free, and that's expensive. The point that I'm making is, I know I'm not obsolete because I know that's a fact. But asking for help has become a taboo thing in this world today. So I know that I'm obsolete because I ask for help. I share the load so I can get the help. I know that I don't have entitled energy. I know that I know that at some point I must give back. I know this. So I know I can't be denied. But I know that that's obsolete to people. People live in fear of giving now. People don't even want to give you a cup of sugar or Kool-Aid. They look at you like, why are you asking this? Like, it's really wild. Like, go knock on somebody's door and be like, can I get a big cup of sugar? And they don't even know you. 9 times out of 10, a couple doors are going to slam on you now. Because the world's living in paranoia about the economy, like straight up fear. This is why I know I'm going to live long. I know I'm going to live long because I know that my mindset is real needed. It's really, really needed. Drug addict people are not that needed. Sorry. That's why half of them, they don't get to see 90. People that hog up all the food, eat up all the food, waste all the money on food, no, there's not too many of them 300 pounds in wheelchairs in nursing homes and 90 years old. Not too many. They're not that needed. People who are determined to be healthy for themselves and other people are needed. You want to live longer? Say, I want to be healthy for everybody and myself. The other day I got sad because I said, I can't believe I'm going to die and not be able to do this. in this life. That really pissed me off. Like, y'all, the fact that that someday I'm not gonna be in this body to do this. I'm not gonna be able to write poetry. That was like, woo. But that's just how much it means to me. That's just how much I believe in it and how significant I know it is. That someday I'm not going to be able to sing for people, and I'm not going to be able to write poetry and read it for people. I'm not going to be able to share my spiritual downloads. Notice I'm saying that. I'm not saying I'm not going to be able to be with my family members. Look, when they die, I'm gonna see them too. Our energy gonna be pulled towards each other. That's not the problem. It's just that I'm not gonna be able to physically do the work in front of people. I'll be able to work from the other side, but people may not know who I am. People will say they got ideas, but they will never know that Miss V gave it to them. If they're not psychic, I'll be on the other side just passing out ideas, and people won't even know who I am. But the fact that people get to know who I am right now, I'm in this body and I get to do it. That's a blessing that even the angels on the other side don't have. That's a blessing that earthbound spirits on the other side don't have. They just hope you'll know that it's them that delivered the message from God. They just hope that you will. If they're in purgatory. But the fact that I get to say, hey, you can see me. You can't say I didn't bring it. You can't say I didn't bring it. The fact that I can do that is just phenomenal. That I get to have challenges. Come on now, let's keep it real. Sometimes challenges can be fun. We love to say, no, they ain't. Come on now, y'all. Sometimes they are fun. Sometimes it's like, let me see what happened when I tried to get through this challenge. Like a video game. We don't think obstacles is fun because we always think that it's the end and be all of us with this obstacle. No, our reaction determines whether it's going to be the be and be or end of us. Our reaction do. So why don't we just go through the obstacles and just say, well, this is fun. This is like I'm actually in a physical game and everybody can see I'm in this game. And hey, I get to feel everything. I get to experience all emotions. Every emotion there is. And I literally get to decide what I'm going to do with these emotions. I can go against my spiritual contract all I want. I have that right. I have free will. If I was an angel on the other side, I don't. I don't have free will. I'm on the other side. But on here, I can go against anything I want. I'm getting a little taste of what it's like to be God. A little taste, a little appetizer. Now, how far I go and what I do, I still have to understand that decides creation. Just like God's behavior and action decides creation, just like minds do. So really, it really is a part of my fault when things happen. When things happen to me, I made a decision at some point. I went into a certain room, and there was obstacles in there. I walked up to a certain person without using my intuition first. So I got the obstacles that they was going to bring. But if I may base my life on intuitive energy like God does, I don't have to worry about so much disappointment. Because one way or another, because I use the smart way of my intuition, if someone crosses that, then they pay. So I'm not going to be disappointment because I got justice. If somebody just goes unplugging a game and my intuition was dead on, okay, they lose and I lose. We lose, but I can restart the game. They lose. They lose because they didn't get the lesson that they could have got from my game. So they lost. They shut the game down. But my cosmic energy is going to just restart the game. Because once it's been deep into a game, and once it's been like I'm determined to do this, the game is just going to restart. Like when people try to sabotage my channel, it's like, oh, I'm going to restart. I'm so deep into this water, so emotionally invested at this point that I'm just going to dive. I'm just going to go back deep. I'm going to just go deeper again. If somebody brings me shadow a little bit, I'm used to the depth. So I'm going to go to the deep. You know, you can train yourself. This is deep. You can train yourself to see going into the unknown, meaning a future you can't predict. Well, at least you can't see if the prediction is there. But let's say you can't predict that future, or you don't see the signs of the prediction of the future. You can glamorize still going into that, still going into it. But intuitively, that way, so that when you do go, you're kind of like, well, at least I do got a little bit of an idea of what the result's going to be. Okay? Because let me tell you something about intuition. Intuition still, and some people may not agree with me with this. Excuse me, y'all. But intuition at some point does use this. Its strength is also best based upon evidence and memory. So you can predict the results from your memory and previous evidence of when you use your intuition for a certain thing. So you can go into the unknown. When the creators say unknown, it's something that you haven't you haven't physically experienced. Okay? So that's all it is. But intuitively you probably have. The body is always scared to go into something that there's no definite physical evidence that is safe for the body. But my thing is, why can't we use the spirit and intuition as the final confirmation whether it's safe for the body? Why don't we use that? So that think deep though, right? Hi everybody. Oh, thank you very much. I'm going to get on video in a minute, y'all. I'm going to get on video. What I started doing, I don't got no pants on, y'all. I like my legs out. I don't like my legs covered above the knees. You know, like cats, when they walk around with their boots on. You ever look at some cats, they got boots on. And the boots go up to the knees, but their thighs is out. I like my thighs out, y'all, because the heat, the genital heat be too much. I mean, like, I gotta have my thighs out. But anyway, I'm gonna get on in a minute, y'all. Hold on, y'all. I started. Thank you very much for the compliment, by the way, Texas Time and everybody else. I started asking myself first, does this intuitively feel good? Like, does it, in memory and vision, does it actually feel good? How far does it take me to more good? Like, how good can this take me? Like, does it lead to other goods, and other goods, and other goods, and other goods? And not just for myself. If I can take it far in my mind, then it's worth the leap. But if I keep hitting a wall in my mind, then it's a leap that I shouldn't take. And if it's a leap you already took, and you're wondering if you should continue on with that leap, then you still need to do the same process in your mind. So for me, I got to thinking, every time I take this same leap with this person, it always ends with a wall. It's like it can't go beyond. It can't. The good cannot become infinite. It's momentarily lasting. So it's a leap that I shouldn't take anymore with them. Even if it doesn't even help me energetically. Sometimes it's not the physical evidence. It didn't help me energetically. I hit a wall energetically every time I do it. Then it's something I need to not do no more. This even goes to creative energy. If I keep hitting a wall every time I write a certain poem, and it's almost like it doesn't expand in goodness, then I shouldn't do that type of poem anymore. This is what it means by standing back and looking at the evidence. You have to feel the evidence too. So if you're doing this and you're trying to decide what you should continue, what you should manifest for the rest of the year, this is a good process. Just literally sit there and think, if you've done this sleep already, how much expansion of good did you get out of it? If you know the percentage of low has been low, and you know you put in almost a year of your life, then it's a leap you need to stop taking. It just is. You know, I think it was Jim Rohn said, you don't need a year or need more than a year to do it wrong. Literally 9 months normally. Well, if you're doing it consistently on a weekly basis, it's enough to tell you whether it's a leap you should continue. That even goes with relationships, friendships. Even the narcissist, their mask slips off within 3 to 6 months with you. You have to be willing to say 9 months. 9 months, what I'm doing is collecting evidence of whether this should be continued. The 9 months of something is experimental time. It's chemistry time. It is not time like, yeah, this is definitely the leap I'm supposed to take. The body needs evidence. It's always going to be that way. It's always going to be that way. Even if you have a long distance relationship, the body will say, I need your body with my body eventually. We can't keep doing this over the phone. So if my body starts to give me the evidence that this is hurting my body now too, no. And it's regularly hurting my body is starved, my body can't get the clothes or the food that it need or whatever, and it's been at this, keep getting a stalemate like that for 9 months, even 4 months out of 9 months. No, you don't have time for averages. The Creator ain't about average growth in your life. We settle for average. Oh, it's 50% dark, 50% light. No, I don't have time for that. The scale, no, somebody's riding on my energy. Something's riding too much on this energy that it's like 50% dark. No, it needs to be a whole lot of light, because I want a whole lot of good life. I want to expand my life even more. So I need the percentage to be higher with goodness and sustainable clarity. Because when it's a leap you're not supposed to take, you'll be struggling with the clarity. It'll be like a bipolar situation with you having clarity about it. Like, especially if it's in a location you don't belong. Like, for example, when I come out here in this neighborhood where I live, y'all, I struggle for clarity. Because where I live is the most lowest vibration of the location that I'm actually supposed to be in. My purpose is more in the UK, Paris and France. This neighborhood I'm living in is the complete opposite. So energetically and spiritually, when I'm out in this neighborhood, it's like I'm struggling to get access to my metaphysical world. But as soon as I go somewhere that has the UK type of energy, it's like instant access to my metaphysical world. Or if I do things of the UK, instant access to my metaphysical world. So this actually, this leap of where I'm living right now, this neighborhood, it's not the good leap. It's not the bad leap. Now I had to bring the some of the right leap within this leap, but see that didn't got toxic. That didn't got toxic. Where it's like, okay, I'm building a world, the right world within the wrong world. No, no. So eventually, I have to leave this neighborhood, willing to spend more money on a neighborhood and home that is of my true metaphysical space, and have faith that my purpose will pay my bills. Okay. Now I only moved to this space. I only took this leap in this neighborhood because I was being a sacrificial lamb. I was trying to make somebody else's world they're easy to access, the one they're supposed to be in. I was carrying somebody else's baggage. So I really can't complain because this was their baggage. This wasn't supposed to be my baggage. Okay? I already knew that I was going to leave the country. I saw myself leaving the country when I was younger. I was attracted to foreigners and people with different languages and things like that. I already knew. But I stayed because I'm a sacrificial love. Now let's get into this. If you are a parent, you don't sacrifice yourself for your adult children. And then say, well, I'm not fulfilling my life purpose. You put them on the path for their purpose, but you don't carry their baggage. Like, you don't carry their baggage. I know it's like, you think that's like good parenting, but how often in this younger generation, the generation now, how often do they send something back to you? How often do they try to help you build your world within the baggage world that you took of theirs? Not too often do they do that. Okay? Because we have social media, all these apps, narcissistic energy makes them feel like you have to carry their baggage because you are their parent, even though they're grown. So they don't feel obligated to help you build your world, at least within their little baggage world that they left you with. You know, whatever bills and stuff they don't want to pay for. That's theirs. So since you know this, this is the world. This is the world where if you're going to deal with someone else's toxic leap, which is their baggage, you need to make them pay for it. Like, seriously. You want me to protect your property, I need to be paid monthly for it so that I can still be able to afford my world. Because this ain't my world, this is yours. I need to be able to afford my world. So you're going to pay me. You're going to pay me to actually watch your car. You're going to pay me to watch your property. You're going to pay me to watch your kids. I know the grown-ups are like, I'll watch my grandkids for free all the time. But to me, that's like, are you forgetting that you have a death clock? So what happens when these kids get grown? What happens when those kids get grown, they're caught up in their life, and they're caught up, you're sitting in a nursing home somewhere. Nowhere you should be. You're in a nursing home somewhere, probably with a caregiver, with your should, coulda, wouldas in your mind, and your bucket list not checked off. Like my mom. My mom glamorized carrying everybody's baggage, running with everybody's kids, running for her siblings, take care of everybody. And in the end, the last 3 years of her life, she was in regret and woulda, coulda, shoulda. And when she got into her energy to try to make up for the lost time, she dropped dead. I love to use my mom as an example because when people think it happens to people that they don't know, it's nice to talk to people who got relatives who went through the shoulda, coulda, wouldas and actually dropped dead right when they were coming out of that energy. A lot of people don't tell you the stories of their loved ones that died. They don't tell you what they went through, what they led up, what they mind. They just say they died of cancer and whatever. But I love to share the story of my mom, and I love to think of her whenever I get too lazy, whenever I'm too much in everybody's baggage energy. I say, Mom, I think about Mom, and it gets me motivated. It gets me jumped up to do my work and have no regrets if I don't feel like carrying other people's baggage. Hi, everybody. Helping people don't mean letting people make you compromise your life. If you got to compromise your life to help people, then you're actually in codependency energy still. You're not in divine energy at that time. 1:47 on the clock. 4-7. Inner work. Get rid of whatever's keeping you in bondage. Get rid of whatever's making you toxic. Any spell work on your diet, any spell work on your money, you're clearing it out. You're figuring out what worked. When you were breaking the spell work, when you broke the spell work a couple of times, what did you do? If you're not sure what 4-7 actually means as a whole, it means connecting to the divine energy to be able to unlock a door within you that would help you be in a certain energy to get out of a situation and stay out of it that's unhealthy for you. Just to stay out of it. Where your value is not questionable. It's not even negotiable. Because you know you was in beast mode. Because you know you didn't do it out of codependency, because you know you didn't see the results of it. You didn't see how the lives that it helped. All you got to do is do something for a while and see the lives that it helps. See how it helps people. Just tossing out money out here to help, just to, whatever all the time, to just help family members and all that. That's not enough. You want to help them so that you don't never have to help them again. This is deep. So they don't never be in a situation of having to ask for help for the same damn problem that's in repeat. I got tired of helping family members stick with their diet because their lack of sticking with their diet was putting spell work on me because I was around them. I got tired of that energy, so I started slapping diet books on the table. So it's like, okay, I don't have to keep helping them. The book is right there. They keep getting set back over and over again. I told them, open the books, and go to that. Go to that. If your kids have trouble with paying their bills and you're like, I'm not, I wasn't smart about my money because I was paying my kids' bills, you need to do something so you don't have to pay their bills anymore. So they can pay their own bills. You need to send them to a financial advisor. You need to send them something on budgeting. Recently, okay, some of y'all don't know that I be having spell work, manipulation of my money. Okay, and the way the spell work do on me with my money is it tries to keep me from taking care of myself, even when I can't. I will literally have the opportunity and have the stuff or whatever, and it will make me, the spell work will make me give things away. Okay, and not give to myself like I should. So I literally just one day I was on the phone, I think it was with Anita. And I literally said, I'm sick and tired of these games with my money. Like I'm not supposed to be able to just look out for myself too. I'm tired of this. And I literally just said that on the phone. And I remember that Anita said, okay, she gave me some information over the phone. And Anita's on this channel. She's a sub. And she gave me the information on this phone, on the phone. And it was literally information I got years ago, but because my energy was being manipulated, I couldn't even remember the one piece of the information until she said it. So I stepped into that energy recently, and I could feel that I could feel that there was some people that was blocking me from it, and now we're not really talking. But I'm okay with that because I'm not going to apologize for putting my oxygen mask on first. They want me to apologize for that. I'm not apologizing for that. So we're not talking and whatever. I can tell that's the reason or whatever. Me getting more sleep rather than jumping up and being a house slave. I literally have expanded my sleep. Like I literally will put myself back to sleep. I will not get 5 hours of sleep and go about my day anymore. I refuse to do that. So I will take melatonin, I will take a sleep aid, and I will literally put myself back to sleep to get my 5 more hours in. This has triggered my family to feel like, oh, I don't care about them or whatever. But it's like I really don't care what they think. But if I wouldn't have just shared my emotional struggle on the phone with Anita, I wouldn't have got that final push to get into this energy. Allow yourself to be outraged about your bondage situations. Because bondage come in different situations. If you're stuck in any way, it's bondage. If you're stuck with how your mindset about yourself, it's bondage. And understand someone taught you to get in that energy. So don't blame it all on you. But allow yourself to be outraged about it. Allow yourself to the people who's around you. Allow them to hear it. I know you say, I don't want them talking about me. You don't know if any of those people will be pushed into compassion energy and will help you. And those who talk about you, they won't suffer because they saw your cry for help and didn't care. We all know what happened to everybody when people did that. And we want to go to religion. When people did that to Moses, when people did that to Jesus, when people did that even to Nostradamus, you see what happened. You see what happened. Everybody paid the price. People are paying the price right now because of how they spit in the face of Nostradamus. The point that I'm making is they're going to pay. Just make sure that you put that energy out there about your outrage about what's happening to you, so that you increase the strength of the manifestation of help coming to you. You increase the strength of it. When I manifested the breakthrough on this channel 4 years ago, I was in serious energy. You would have thought I was in a ring like Mike Tyson in here. I was outraged. I was demanding. I was in here with thunder to my energy. Okay, I wasn't in here with just gentle energy. When we get tornadoes and when we get hurricanes and thunder, it's breaking stuff down. It's letting us know what the best of the best is. We see some beautiful homes still standing, but we see some not so standing or some not standing at all. But a release has happened. A release has happened. Do you know how many people have grown up tremendously by having their house brought down by a tornado? They learned about the wastefulness of their money. They learned about the values of their family connections. They learned about what matters most about inner spirit. They learned the hard way that nobody wants to learn that way, but at least they did. But it took for something outrageous to happen. And it took for them to get outrageous about it. For them to finally come to acceptance that they need to put their heart into something that is not just their house and their property. They needed to be more worldly. That they asked for help then, huh? The hurricane survivors asked for help then, huh? They didn't just sit and say, I don't need no help because I got a house and car or whatever. You always need help. You will die always needing help. You're not escaping it. You're not running from it. We was meant to socialize and connect, and the Creator will always put us in help energy so that we don't forget that. Hi, everybody. I had deep shame for asking for help. Hi, Profesh Man. Hi, Profesh Man. Hi, Kush. Let me see. I'm gonna get on video for a little while. Okay, y'all. I'm gonna get on video. Hi, everybody. I was in the deepest shame about asking for help. I was just like, no, I'm always supposed to be strong. Mama raised me that way. Mm-mm. I was staying stuck. I was staying stuck, y'all. And I'm going to just keep it real. When I was like, I could do this by myself, my mom. See, this is the problem when you're raised in a home with a single parent. Like, you really don't learn the importance of being okay with needing help. The single parent will be like, I got this. We're going harder, harder and harder and harder and harder and harder. But when you got two parents in the home on a regular and both healthy, you learn the meaning of help flow, energy help flow. So it becomes something that you're comfortable with when you grow up. When you raised by single parents, they teach you be strong. You can, don't count on nobody. Don't this. You got it. I did it. I raised you by myself. But it's like, you really wasn't supposed to. So really don't put that on me. I'm going to go out here and ask for help all day. I don't drive around and let the GPS get me lost. I will pull over in the gas station. I will call and say, how you do this? Do you know where that's at? The more you value your time, the more you value your body time, the more powerful you will get just naturally. And that means you have to ask for help. You have to be willing to say, I made a mistake and I need somebody to help me out of this. I'm tired of experimenting so much and keep having delays. I got so tired with delays on my weight loss journey. I wanna at least know I'm losing weight every day. I don't care about how much. But I don't want no more setbacks. But I need to ask for help. Even if I got to ask for help by having my ancestors take my mind 200 years in the past so I can get the download, that's what I got to do. So like, for example, I was sitting around the other day and I was like, I need help with sustaining this diet. I don't understand why sometimes it gets so hard. What is wrong? And I was shown an image of Native American people. I got this vision and I saw them eating little clementines and little pieces of fruit, right? I said, why am I seeing this in my mind? But I realized that the angels took my mind to a time period. They showed me through vision what I needed to do. And what it was the American diet of sitting down and having a cup of juice with your meal was not what my Native American ancestors did. My ancestors, with my genetics, they were juice heads. They was eating clementines and little pieces of fruit and berries in between meals. There wasn't a designated time. Now, maybe there was for some white people, European Americans, maybe that's okay with them. Okay? But I have too much earth energy to be saying this is the only time for some juice. So I stopped drinking water and I reshopped my whole cabinet and everything is hydration. If it doesn't hydrate me, I don't even want it. I don't even want the liquid in here. Like, my family got their own shelf with their non-hydration stuff. With it just plain old water and sugary drinks that doesn't hydrate. I don't drink that stuff. So, because I switched over, like, okay, I hydrate. Now it's like, okay, Where's the hunger? I'm not craving. I'm not really like I need some candy. I need just junk food. There's pies in there. I'm like, because I realized with my diet, sweets, I was substituting sweets for hydration. That's what I was doing. And the sweets have more calories than the hydration stuff. Now, I'm not going to say this is going to work for you, but I believe that a lot of Native American people with Native American roots or African roots, where they were in the driest or Indian parts, the driest part, I believe that they have to prioritize hydration. I have been to so many African Americans' homes, and they don't have no Gatorade. They don't have no electrolyte water. They got Kool-Aid. They got sugary drinks. And then they wonder why they got this bitter energy to them, that they have this dry personality, that they're reckless. You know, they wonder why they're in that energy. And it's like, hydrate. Hydrate. Try it. Like, literally, like, make hydration your life. If you're spiritual and you're psychic, glamorize hydration. You want to be in the most intuitive energy. You want to be connected to source stronger. You want to have a brain that's less scattered. You want to feel your body purge all day like I do. I be burping and it be coming out. Like, I don't have to, like, you know, get something to get it out. It's like, it's out. You want that energy, hydrate. Hydration leads you to clarity. Hydration leads you to opportunities and resources. Hydration leads you to access your metaphysical power stronger than the last time. Hydration leads you to stomach health. Stomach health, your invitation to the metaphysical world is sealed in stone. You're almost undefeatable intuitively. You will find it at some point, you'll be like, why do all my angel number scriptures is all abundant? I don't even need oracles. I don't even feel like I need to go to church. You'll have a happiness, you'll have a drama-free feeling, and you're like, and you're going to be like, oh, I was able to just go with the flow, just go with my life and enjoy the thing that I'm doing, and I didn't have to worry about if I would be sad afterwards. As a matter of fact, I'm not even glamorizing spending money. I'm hydrated. When people have shopping addiction, they're trying to use shopping to hydrate. When a healthy diet can do it for you. Like, you'll notice when you hydrate more and you put on your clothes, nice clothes is good, but it ain't all that. Like, you'll be like, it's good. I wearing nice clothes is good, but I was already feeling good before I put these clothes on. I already felt that way. Y'all, I felt like that earlier. I was like, this burger is good. This sausage burger is good, but it ain't all that. I was like, I will settle for the hydration. I mean, if I had to choose, I would definitely choose the hydration. But yeah, that was just something that was on my mind. I wanted to share with y'all. Thanks for listening, everybody. If you'd like to donate to the channel, you can donate to my Cash App at @Coach V Hunter. Y'all, I'm going to be putting cold water on my face about 6 times a day. I think that there's so much breath being released that is toxic for divine ones. So I think we got to do like a clearing of our mouth and face, like 4 or 5 times a day now, y'all. It's a lot of talking going on. We think it ain't because we don't see it happening in the street, but it's coming through technology. And it's causing It's causing confusion in our third eye and our crown chakra and our eyeballs. So I plan to do eye and crown therapy several days a week. I started washing my hair, cold rinsing my hair at least every other week, just to be able to get any of the toxic breath out of my hair that it might be from people who's talking about me or people who's thinking about me and the energy around me. All right, y'all, I gotta get ready to go. It is 2:07. I gotta work on this stuff. I got something coming, y'all. I got a few things coming. Thank you very much. If you'd like to send a donation, you can send donations to my Cash App at money sign Coach V Hunter. Thank you for all your donations. Be mindful with your money. Go outside and go places. This is the year of freedom for a lot of people. A lot of people. But if you don't allow yourself to have freedom this year, you're gonna have it's gonna be a bitter year next year for you. Okay? All right, bye.